AskZena Radio Show. Wow, I'm sorry I missed you last week. I was actually called into a meeting last minute about some growth strategies, and it was a great opportunity. So I wasn't able to come in. I'm so sorry. Hello, how are you? Happy Wednesday, right? May 22nd. Wow, we are just about to end this month, which is crazy. We are halfway through this year. All right, let's get this party started. All right. So thank you so very much for tuning into the AskZena Radio Show. I appreciate you tuning in, tapping in, listening in, and getting motivated, inspired, just taking a step in your life in the right direction so that we can get this thing moving and start to live this amazing, huge, abundant life. Like, there is so much out there for you. So today I'm going to talk about a couple of things because I want to know, how are you living? How are you living? Like, how is life showing up for you right here, right now, in this moment? So if you're just tuning in, this is the Good News Radio Station. This is Coach.AskZena, and thank you so very much for listening to me on your hump day, right? Woohoo! Yes. So, I know that there's some people out there that just want to get to the point, right? They don't want to go through the process. It's like they just want to hit it, go, get it, and move on, right? So for those of you, I'm going to tease you a little bit today. So if that's your intention and you don't like listening to my voice and you just want to get to the point, Zena. Get to the point. The point is, how are you living? Are you living in faith? Or are you living in fear? Now, that's not the that's not the end, and that's not the all, and that's not everything that I want to share with you. If you really want to learn some things about people living in faith and fear, and people living in light and darkness, and it's showing up even though they might be saying something different, even though they might be doing something different, then you need to listen to the AskZena Radio Show. And you need to listen all the way through. So, I gave you a little bit, but let's jump on in, right? Let's jump on in. So, I am not a bragging person. I'm not a person that brags or talks about a lot of stuff as it relates to myself and my accomplishments. I just sort of live and learn and let live and go on. But there have been some pretty dynamic things that I have done recently with helping a couple of people. And in my meditation, it came to me as to, well, how are you living? So one of the things that I've done is on my social media, different platforms that I use, I have been posting to this particular group that has, I think they've got hundreds of thousands of people. It's created by a pretty famous person, and it's mostly for women, and women will say, well, I need some advice. Give me some advice on this. And women will chime in, and they'll chime in. And what I mean by that is, damn, y'all can be shady. I mean, people asking for advice, and I am just so surprised at how shady people can be. And like, when did that become the norm, right? I mean, I don't know how you're living, but I don't live with people who are shady and critical and judgmental of who I am. I live with kind-hearted, loving, like-minded, like-spirited, like-hearted people who are in my life, encouraging me and motivating me. If you've got that sort of toxicity around you, you need to move. Or you need to get some new friends. Anyway, so let me go back. So I posted in this group, actually, no, let me go back. So there was a post in this group. A woman was saying, and I'm going to paraphrase just in case she's listening. that the company was going through a restructuring, and they offered her another position. Either she would take this position or she would be laid off. And the new position would decrease her salary by $33,000. I'm not talking 3,300. I'm saying 33,000. So let me just tell you about some of the comments that came in. Damn, girl, how much you making that you can take that? Oh, at your age, you should really think about this, because this is stability. You know what? Just keep the job. And, jobs are hard to find. You've got this experience. These are all the comments, right? And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, really? Why are all these people telling this woman to lessen her life? Like, to deflate her life? $33,000. $33,000 is a complete lifestyle change. I don't care what you're making. If you're making $50,000 and you're taking a $33,000 pay cut, that's a lifestyle change. That's a drastic lifestyle change. In recruiting, I never, ever offer a position to someone who's willing to take a drastic life change like that, because they're not going to be happy. And if they're not going to be happy, they're going to be resentful employees and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so let me get back to this post. So she was asking for advice, and I commented and I said, how are you living? Are you living in faith, or are you living in fear? Because there were all of these holy roller comments about, you just have to have the faith, and you just have to do this, and have the faith and stay in that job, and have the faith and do this, and, you have to rely on Jesus, and all of these different scriptures. I get all of that. I might offend some people, but this is my radio show, so it is my opinion and it's my experience. If you don't like it, tap out, tune out right now. But I'm here to share some information with you. So when I said, how are you living, faith or fear? She was like, no, faith, and I believe, and I know that this is going to work out and all this. Well, okay. So from a recruiting standpoint, or a corporate standpoint, you can never bounce back, not unless you're in sales and there's a commission. You can never bounce back in a corporation from a $33,000 pay cut, because if you go to apply for another job, they're going to say, well, what's your salary expectations, or how much are you earning? And then you tell them this. The new company is not obligated to bring you up to the level that you are wanting to be at, because that's your former level where a company, took you back. So you really have to think about that. No one is responsible for bringing you up but yourself. That's another nugget. No one is responsible for carrying you. No one is responsible for lifting you up. That's all on you. So $33,000, let me tell you what happened. So I posted, and I gave her my email address, and I said, hey, let me help you. Let me figure out what's going on here. I have 25 years in corporate human resources experience. I don't think that you should take a pay cut. I think that there are tons of opportunities out there, and it's all about positioning and packaging. Now, she's a middle-aged woman. She's similar to my age, and she has like 20 years as an executive assistant or executive administrator, and has a stellar background. I haven't even seen her resume. Still haven't seen her resume. So we had a conversation, and a couple of things that came out. She's telling me that the company is they're restructuring. It's a multi-billion-dollar company, and that she supports multiple executives, and that that position is going away, and that that they like her, but they're offering her a different job. Well, they literally offered her the receptionist job. So to go from sitting on the executive floor to sitting downstairs with the security guard, nothing wrong with security guards, is a complete demotion, right? So I said, who did you piss off? Sometimes I just speak and stuff comes out of my mouth. She's like, well, why would you say that? I said, well, clearly this is an at-will state, the state that she was employed in or is employed in. It's an at-will state. So meaning they could fire you for any reason. So you must have pissed someone off, but yet other people kind of liked you, so they're still giving you a job. And I said, it almost looks like a disciplinary action, because it's like, you messed up so bad, but we like you. We don't want to get rid of you, so we're going to make you feel humiliated and put you in this position. She's like, wow, how did you know that? Now, mind you, I hadn't seen her resume. I can only tell you her first name, and I don't know anything other than she was an executive administrative assistant to multiple executives, and she was offered a job, needed to make a decision in a week, and she was losing $33,000 if she stood with this company. So she confided in me that she, made a mistake, and the reaction from the executives was really bad. It actually was a fireable offense. It wasn't that she did anything wrong. It was just that she forgot to confirm something. And so if an executive is in another country and they're flying somewhere, they want everything completely done for them. They want car service, they want hotel, they want all this stuff done because they're traveling to another country. But she forgot to make the travel arrangements. So anyway, that's here nor there. So she told me that, and I said, well, it sounds like some of the executives like you and feel sorry for you. And then it sounds like whoever you didn't complete the travel arrangements with, they're like totally PO'd with you. So this is a demotion. So are you living in faith or fear? And she was like, well, faith. And I said, well, how are you living? How can you live in faith and you accept a job that will create tremendous hardship for your home? She said, well, when we say it that way, it doesn't sound like that's faith. And I said, well, I don't know what God you serve, but the God I serve is a multiplying God. He is not a divider. He doesn't divide, and he doesn't tear down. So anyway, so we had one conversation. She was supposed to send me her resume. She didn't. And we basically just talked about a couple things. I found some videos, found some books for her, really told her from a standpoint of a corporate environment that she will never be able to recoup that $33,000. So think about it. If she now takes the job as a receptionist, they're going to be monitoring her. If she takes a day off to go look for another job, they're going to automatically fire her. So she's the receptionist. She's the face of the company. She's the first person that people see. So her job and responsibilities and duties and tasks are going to be scrutinized heavily. Now, the other thing is, why couldn't they just give her just a plain secretary job? Again, someone wanted to make a point. And I don't care who you are. You don't need to make a point in my life. That's between me and God. And last time I knew, Jesus wasn't hiring to get any other judges in to sit on the Supreme Court, the divinity court with him to be a judge, jury, trial, and execution. So anyway, one conversation and she got it. And then within 24 hours, I said, hey, can I reach out to someone and give them your phone number? So let me show you what happens when you're living in fear. That post got about 687 comments. And I want to say 80% of those were like, girl, just keep that job. You know, it's better to have some money than no money. You know, you're not going to be able to find another job. You know, you've done this. At your age, it's really hard. You know, those jobs are really hard. No one is hiring and all of this stuff, right? So faith and fear. And I keep saying that because I'm going to tell you why. She was receiving all those comments. And so she was living actually in fear, not faith. All of these people were telling her all these different things, and it was drowning her. She was drowning in all of this fear of, I can't find another job. I'm an older woman. I may not have these skill sets. I may not have these references. You know, this is what I'm going to be making. This is what it's going to do to my household. Anyway, one conversation, we cleared that up. Okay, so now I pushed her into faith. And the reason why I say that she got into faith is because she got it. She got it with regards to her own ability, her own skills, and her own self-worth. And all I did was ask her what she's done. I asked her to tell me what her gifts, talents, and abilities were. I asked her to walk me through the progression of her experience. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. And so what happened within 24 hours of us having a conversation, I called a friend of mine who literally just turned down the identical job that this woman is qualified for. And she said, oh my gosh, I know someone. I just turned down this job. Give me her name, give me her number, and I'm going to refer her. And I'm paraphrasing, but I'm going to refer her. Anyway, made the connection. My friend then sent me a message on Facebook and said that was divine timing. Faith or fear? So when you move into faith, right? When you move into faith, the universe can now start to supply. You're now a magnet drawing the faith opportunities to yourself. So she posted this on this large group and was receiving all these negative comments, and she was saturated with fear that this woman was willing to take a $33,000 pay cut. I mean, some people don't even make $33,000. So can you imagine what her lifestyle would have been? I mean, she probably would have lost her home. She probably would have lost her cars, and she would have struggled. She probably would have had to get a second job. And then the humiliation of just sitting there, watching these people come in, saying good morning to them, knowing that she was sitting at the executive floor. Now she's on the ground floor. Faith or fear? How are you living? How are you living? Faith or fear? And I share that story with you, not to toot my own horn, but just to say it's easy to make that shift. Once you remember who you are, once you remember what your worth is, once you remember what you know, once you start remembering your life experiences, it's easy to make that shift. But so many people are stuck in fear and listening to all these other people about their experiences. Can't find a job. No one's hiring. Do you know there are so many jobs out there? There are more jobs out there than there are people available for those jobs. We are in a different time, right? So anyway, that was my story. I helped her save $33,000 and continue with her lifestyle and continue doing what she needs to do and not be humiliated. And so I was just a vehicle on her journey, right? And Zena Contreras didn't do anything famous. All of that took probably maybe 3 days. And look, she posted that out of fear. What do you think I should do? Listening to people who are scared, worried, and fear. And I thought to myself, wait a minute. She posted that one thing, and all of these people are living in fear as well. So I posted something else in that group, and I mean, women came at me. So the next story I'm going to share with you is another story that came up in that group. So this young lady was having problems with her supervisor. I guess she worked in a call center. And after her supervisor heard a call, her supervisor came to her, and there weren't any other people around, and basically said, you are shit. You have the worst customer service skills. I'm going to be watching you. I'm going to make it my mission that you are fired because you don't know what you're doing. You need to get it together. You've got another 30 days. Now, this is the supervisor who's telling her this and belittling her in her little cube. And so she posted in this group and she said, what should I do? Should I just quit? Now, I'm not a person that believes in quitting any job. And I'll tell you why. Because if I quit a job, I don't have any money coming in. If I don't have any money coming in, I can't afford my lifestyle. And there are things about my lifestyle that I really like. So I'm not giving anyone that kind of power to take my paycheck away from me. not unless I find another job, right? So you're not gonna force me to quit. You're gonna have to fire me, but you're not gonna force me to quit. So I responded to her and I said, here's a couple of options. One is you should go to human resources and let them know that this was a hostile situation. You need to go immediately so that your boss or the supervisor doesn't go and twist the tables on you as if it were your fault. You need to document the situation, the time. This happened at 9:23. It was Monday, there were no other people around in the cubicles. 15 minutes later, Stephanie walked in from her break. The reason why that stuff is important is because it shows authenticity. So then they can go back to Stephanie and they can say, on Monday at 9:28, were you taking a break? Yes, I was taking a break. That's a validation, right? So I posted in this group a couple of things, like go to human resources, document this. While everyone else in this group was like, hell no, quit that job. I would go to her and tell her exactly what I feel, how I felt, whatever, blah, 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 blah. No. Again, faith and fear. How are you living, right? So when people are willing to be confrontational with another, that means they're living in a lot of fear. And fear is a cousin to anger, resentment, disappointment, shame, blame. Fear is below, it's like there's so many different causes. Because fear is the root. There's so many different causes that occur as a result of fear. So if you're living in love, it's the same thing. There's so many different causes that would come to you, draw to you, if you're living in love. And we'll talk about that. But anyway, so I posted this comment, and all right, so this gets real nasty. So someone in this group then posted to me, I've been a union boss for many years. HR is horrible. They are liars. They're not for the people. They are taking money. And I said, I'm sorry. I didn't know when this became personal. I was really trying to help this woman understand what she could do. Well, you've probably taken money. I've looked at your LinkedIn. You couldn't have worked in the entertainment companies without taking money. You're probably getting kickbacks. And I thought, okay, she really wants me to go there with her, right? This happens on a post. These trolls in social media want to take out their aggression, want to take out their frustration on people they don't even know because they're living a miserable life and they feel like they've got to bully someone. I ain't the one. I'm not the one. So, but I thought, okay, how am I going to react? How am I going to react? How am I going to respond? So I said, well, I am so sorry that you have had such a negative life experience with human resources professionals. But if you've looked at my LinkedIn, you will know that I'm a highly recommended person and I have a lot of stability and I've worked in this industry for quite some time. So please remove myself from your personal comments because we don't know each other, and let's get back to helping this young lady. Oh, she was like, you made it personal. I was like, okay, now I just have to go here. Because sometimes I can be snarky, a lot of times. So I was like, Miss Former Union Boss, I know you know what arbitration is, and I know you know what negotiation is, and I know you know what compliance is, and I know you know what coming to an agreement means. So I am going to agree to disagree and remove myself from this situation. And that's what I did. She probably went on and on with her trolling comments. But I got back to the young lady. One of the other things, and this is the thing that I want to tell you, if you're having problems with a supervisor, one of the other things that you can do in this digital age is turn on your camera on your phone. You don't have to get the person's face or image if you get the voice. I have a friend that was being in Phoenix. She was being something happened. They didn't give her like $10,000 of her bonus because they said that she did not perform up to task or something like that. She was in sales. May have been 10, may have been 30,000. I'm not sure. It was a lot of money. And so when they brought her in for the performance review, she had her phone and she turned it on record. And it was flipped over, so they didn't know it was recording. And she recorded the entire conversation about her performance. And she asked very specific questions like, well, on this month, didn't I perform? And on this month, did I do this? And did I bring in this and did I bring that? So then at the end of the conversation, they were like, their backs were against the wall. Well, she said, so how didn't I perform to receive the full bonus that all of my other counterparts who are male received that? And I am a mature minority female, and I didn't receive the same bonus that they received. And they really couldn't say anything. She took that recording and she went to Human Resources. And she got enough money where she quit her job and girlfriend moved to Paris. Again, I'm paraphrasing, but she did move to Paris. She did get money and they worked out the situation. So going back to this post, if you are being berated or belittled in a work environment, I would just flip that phone on and just turn it over and record it, because when you can get documentation, there's nothing they can do. They can't do anything to dispute that. And if they do, to try to discredit you, then basically you go to the Employment Equalization Board or whatever. Anyway, so I told this young lady, I said, here's another approach. So 1, you go to Human Resources. 2, you document the situation, the scenario, and who was around. 3, you have your phone on record. And I'm going to tell you a strategy that worked for her. And then 4, you then call a meeting with HR and this person. See, you want to get in front of the situation. So this is what I told her. I said I would go to the supervisor. I would have my phone in my back pocket recording, and I would say, the other day when you yelled at me, I found that a little offensive. And so a lot of people with ego are not going to want to play this card, but I'm going to tell you this card will work in any work environment. All you have to do is minimize the situation and take the emotion out of the situation, and then turn that around where you are coming across as very humble. It sounds manipulative, but sometimes you have to do some things to get somewhere. So this is what I told her to do. I said, keep your phone in your back pocket and go to that supervisor and say, I am sorry that you felt my customer service skills were not at a satisfactory level. But I found it greatly offensive when you were, telling me these things and being very angry, and it felt very offensive. It felt like I was being attacked. So the phone is recording in your back pocket. Now this person can either, authenticate that they said that by, commenting on that, or they can ignore it and brush it off. They don't know that they're being recorded. So what happened is their supervisor said, look, blippity, blippity, blip, and went on, right? And so I told her, take the emotion out of it. This person is probably going to say some horrible things, but the good thing is you get it on on your phone recording it. And then so at the end, when the supervisor was saying all these horrible things, even to the fact that said that, hey, you're going to be fired for all of this. And so the young lady said to the supervisor in a calm voice, what can I do to turn this situation around? So now when she shares that recording, she's showing that she is cooperative and that she's willing. And it's showing the onus in terms of the aggression being on the supervisor. So the supervisor went on to say, nothing, and you're horrible, and you're this. And so the young lady said, is this a personal attack, or what have I done to make you feel this way? And the supervisor, unbeknownst, not realizing they're being recorded, went on and on and on to talk about all of these other things. And a lot of them were personal. One actually came out that it was something about her hair. And I was like, okay, that's a discrimination. So she finished this and she said to the supervisor, I'm sorry you feel that way. I hope that we can find a way to work together because I really want to grow in this company. So she took that recording and then she went to Human Resources. There's no disputing that. I don't know what the outcome will be, but there's no disputing that. You have this on video, right? And all of this. And then you have this person who was, abused, verbally abused, assaulted, but yet she is coming across as cooperative, as engaging, as someone who wants to turn this around. And so the last post that I know is that she went to Human Resources. I didn't look at the post after that. So the point why I'm saying there is, how are you living? The comments were, a lot of people were like, go up to that person, tell that person off, quit that job, walk out, take your desk and throw your stuff, and just all this negativity. And the point that I keep asking when I say, how are you living, is your aggressive behavior is a demonstration of how you're living. And it's a demonstration of your frustration. It's a demonstration of your shames that you might have, things that are unresolved within yourself, things that are going on. It's also a manifestation of disappointments, of abandonment, of fear, of lack. All of these things are fear-based. And so how are you living, and how are you showing up? Like, I'm sharing these situations with you because I'm hoping one will resonate with you, where you'll think about, wow, that day that I had road rage and I flipped off that person, it was showing up. How I'm living was showing up in this environment. And so I wanted to share another story with you about a gentleman who reached out to me on Facebook. Yeah, I'm on Facebook a lot. I told one of the reporters yesterday, he was like, I noticed you're on Facebook a lot. And I said, that's because I'm in here having these phone interviews with these people, and they're driving me crazy. I'm going to get to that one too. So there was a gentleman that reached out to me. He actually tagged me on a post on Facebook, and look, I'm the wrong person. Don't tag me to use my audience to promote what it is that you want to do. Like, if you call me, I'm pretty much the coolest person where I will like, sure, tell me a little bit more about it. I'll send it out to my audience. I'll email. I'll call people. If I know you like that, I'll promote you. I have no problem with promoting people because I believe what goes around comes around. But don't tag me just to use my audience. So anyway, he did, and it was a video. And I was like, what is this about? So I looked at the video, and I was really compelled to want to get to know him even more because of his situation and circumstance. I actually had him out on the show. He was the gentleman that went through PTSD, whatever that. Anyway, I don't know what that is. And we talked, and it got really emotional. So RC. So, and RC did mention while he was on the show that he had a child that he had a relationship with the mother, and the mother gave the child up for adoption. And so that was in 2005. And all he wanted was to be connected to this child. But because of his PSTD, I think that's what it is, he had a lot of anger issues. And so he pushed a lot of people away in his life because of that anger. And he now is doing much better and lives in Arizona, and great. So he, during the time that this woman got pregnant and then gave the baby up for adoption, they broke up the relationship, and then she just disappeared. So he has been going out trying to find her and creating these videos, and he found her different places, and the videos seem very aggressive. Now, I'm going to say some things that you might find offensive, but if you're a big black man and you're coming at me and I'm walking across the street, I don't care if I'm black, purple, pink. People will find that offensive if you're being aggressive. So if you got a video camera and you're coming at me as I'm walking across the street and you're saying, where's my baby? Where's my baby? That's going to be an act of aggression, right? And so that's going to take that woman back to the thought of, he was mean, he was angry when I was with him, that's why I was too young, couldn't have the baby, wanted to give the baby up for a better life, and so on and so forth. So I told him to take the emotion out of it, because going at her, attacking her, is never going to lead you to your child. And the end result is you want to find your child. So he came on my show, and then I told him I would help him. So I reached out to him, and probably in about less than an hour, I know it was much less than an hour, we were able to locate the mother. We were able to locate family, friends. We were able to find out contact information where this woman is. She claims that this is an open adoption, which means that he should be able to have access to his child. But we're able to find out more and more details about his child. And I keep telling him, which he's doing great. RC, you're doing great. Take the emotion out of it. If you hold on to the end result, what it is that you're trying to achieve, versus, well, she gave the baby up for adoption, and she gave other children up for adoption, and she, that blame game that keeps you in that anger and resentment, which is fear-based, like fear because I'll never find my child, fear that she did this, fear that she may come attack me, fear that she may get a restraining order against me, versus the love, I want to find my child. I want to love and have a relationship with this child. The child is, 13 now, because that was 14, 2005. So you have to take the emotion out of it. And again, how are you living? Are you living in faith or fear? So if you draw a line on the piece of paper, and above is love and below is fear, you can put all of those words in there, all of those emotions in there, and where are you living and how is your life showing up? See, he didn't realize that. What he thought was he was just trying to find the mother of his child that did a wrong by giving this baby up for an adoption and not letting him know. He was just so consumed with all of those things that she did, and the fact that this child is gone, and him not thinking that he could ever have a relationship with this child. Faith or fear? Faith or fear? So he was showing up as an angry, muscular black man trying to find information, and you're never going to be able to win that battle, because the perception of other people, plays a big part of it. Perception of other people is like, why would I want to help you when the only thing that he wants to do is find his child? So again, faith or fear? Faith or fear? How are you living? How are you living in your relationships? How are you living in your finances? How are you living? And so let me get to the real nugget here. Everything is temporary. Everything is temporary. Faith and fear, temporary. It's all based upon your perception and the energy that you put out. So, faith or fear, temporary, based upon energy. Because everything is energy. Everything. You draw unto you opportunities because of your energy. You draw unto you misery because of your energy. But people don't make the correlation, because what happens is, if I go out there and I'm nasty and I'm being nasty to one person, and then I get through my day and then something horrible happens to me the next day, it's like, oh my gosh, everyone's coming at me. Why is this happening to me? I don't deserve this. This shouldn't be happening to me. Blah, 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 blah. You forgot what you did yesterday and the day before, right? Because that's karma. And karma is nothing but stored up energy. Good or bad, right? Good or bad. So let's not forget the things that we did, flipping off people. I know, I've done it. I have road rage. I admit it. way, 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 way back. Sometimes I have a little road rage now, but I basically talk to other cars. But anyway, that's here nor there. Faith or fear, and how are you living? It will show up. It will show up before you walk through the door. I know that. I'm telling you, I live this every single day, because here's what I do is I don't interview anyone in person. I interview everyone over the phone because I want to see how they're going to show up. I want to see how their energy is going to transcend into the environment. I want to see how they're going to show up in the interview. I don't even need to look at them. So let me get back to this reporter. So yesterday, a reporter that I hired came into my office, and hold on a second. Sorry. He came into my office and he said, I want to thank you. And I said, why? You know, my job is to hire people. He said, no, let me tell you what I did. From the first time that I found out that you were at this company and you were the first person of contact to hire people, I went out and I Googled you and I found some of your videos that you did on YouTube. And the one video that you did, it's called Get Seen, Get Interviewed, and Get Hired under Zena Contreras. He said, I used everything that you said in that video. You need to keep doing those videos because I'm here and I'm hired. And like, I was like, don't make me cry, because I'm like a big wuss. Like, I cry about just anything. I cry at commercials. My older son is like, are you crying? Let me have my moment. Yes, I cry at Lion King. I cry at different things. I cried on my way here. I was listening to a gospel song in my car on the way to the studio, and I cried. That's crazy. But crying is release. So anyway, follow the flow when you listen to Ask Zena. So if you're just tuning in, thank you for tuning in. I hope that you have gotten the message or will go back and listen to this and repeat this. This is the Good News radio station, and I am Coach.AskZena. Hey, reach out to me anytime on all the social media platforms on under AskZena, or you can always email me at coach.askzena@gmail.com. But let me go back to this reporter. So he looked at the video and he was like, that information was amazing. I didn't know looking for a job had that many complexities in there. I didn't know that a resume and this and people, what they think behind the scenes and packaging and how you present yourself. He was like, that was amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. So I did cry a little bit and we hugged. And then everybody was like, well, who is this person in my office? He's a very nice looking guy. And everybody was like, well, who is he? No one knew who he was. I mean, I knew that he was a reporter that started, but faith or fear. And so faith or fear and how I show up is what I try to do every day. Every morning when my spirit wakes me up, I really want to be of service. And so I decide to navigate whether I'm going to live in faith or fear. I make a conscious decision. There are some days I am not happy with the circumstances that are going on, and that is fear-based. And when I realize that it's fear-based, then I shift that. So this is how that can happen for you, is if you wake up and you're miserable and you're disappointed and you're depressed about things that happened yesterday, boyfriend broke up with you, you broke up with the boyfriend, money isn't right, car is acting right. It is as simple as this to make that shift. Just ask yourself, am I living in faith or fear? All of those things that I just listed have to be in fear. So then you're like, when you put the big header, the big title on it, and you realize where that's coming from, you can say, I'm choosing love. And then from that place, you just elevate. So from that place, the thing that made me cry this morning is I was thinking about my younger son, and I heard this gospel song. And so those were tears of love. And so I just decided to think about something that was really positive, someone that I really, really love, and shift from all of that negativity. So anyway, I hope that you have received something, that you listen to this podcast and you re-listen to it, and I hope that there's a message in there for you. I just felt so compelled that I really wanted to share those stories with you, and hopefully, they resonate. I just have one other story. But this is not about faith or fear. This is about life right now and the circumstances and how people are living. So recently, I offered someone a job, and part of the protocol is that they would take a drug test. They have to take a drug test within 48 hours. So, I don't smoke, but if you do, you might take a puff during the day or at night to calm down, to relax. You're definitely going to take a puff if you got some good news in celebration of it, right? And the reason why I say that is because if you celebrate you getting a job, that's just the job offer. You have to make it to the point where you get through the front door, right? And so if you smoke recreationally or medically, some companies do not acknowledge that, and you will have to take a drug test, and you will not pass the drug test. So I am not judging anyone. All I'm saying is, just know that if you accept a job and there's a protocol or conditions of employment, that if you smoke the night that you got the verbal offer and you have to take a drug test within a week, well, there's no way around that. And so companies also, this happened just recently. So this guy, and he admitted it to me, young guy, he kept delaying the process of accepting the actual offer letter online. And so once I made that verbal, he had a certain point or a certain time frame to accept the offer online. And because I always tell people, now that you've accepted the verbal, you'll get an offer letter, and then within 48 hours, you have to take a drug test. And he was like, well, what kind of drug test? Are they going to cut my hair? Don't play stupid with me. You got to pee in a cup. Don't play stupid with me. So, and I said, you have to do that within 48 hours. So he kept pushing that back, like, well, I'm going out of town and now I'm in Puerto Rico. And I'm like, well, I can drug test you in Puerto Rico. That's not a problem. I can drug test you internationally. So he kept delaying it. So what happened, it was like 2 weeks went by, and I guess he was trying to clean out his system, and I rescinded the offer. So there's nothing I can do. So he now has to wait 6 months before reapplying for another job. And so he came out and he was like, who can I talk to and whatever. I mean, the job was over $60,000. So it was a nice job for someone who has like 2-3 years out of college. Anyway, there's no one he could talk to. And so he said, hey, this is what happened. I got excited. You're a great company. And I did this. And I said, and I get that. That's all I could say. I'm sharing this with you, but that's all I could say to him because legally, because of legal reasons, I can't go into that with him and what that was about. And so, we had to take back the offer. So last nugget. If you get an offer letter, even if it's for a contract opportunity, please don't go out there and puff. You live your life the way you want to live it. But if a job and it's about your livelihood and it's about a source of income and it's about creating a new life for yourself, or it's about elevating your life, don't jeopardize that for a puff. Don't. I'm just saying that. I wouldn't do that. That's my only advice. Anyway, I have rambled on today, but I hope that some of the information was valuable and useful. I got a text. One of my friends said, thank you. It was a good show. So, and she sent me, there's some laws on secretly recording conversations. Yeah, I know you can't do that in California. I know you can't do that in other states, but, there's a way around that. Anyway. All is well. Happy Wednesday. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. It's the holiday. Do something special. I am going to get a 2-hour massage. That's what I'm going to do for myself this weekend because my neck and everything. I've been going to yoga class and I should be going to Zumba class, but I haven't done that yet. Well, I went once. Anyway, Anyway, enough about me. Thank you for tuning to the Ask Zena radio show and listening in, tapping in, tuning in. Listen to me next week. I have more information. I don't know what next week looks like. I really don't. I don't have my calendar in front of me, but all is well. Be blessed. Celebrate you. And how are you living? Living in faith or living in fear? Blessings. Thought we'd go out and listen to something a little bit more soothing today. Happy Hump Day. Thank you for tuning in to the Ask Zena radio show on the Good News radio station. Check out all of our other shows. Have a wonderful day.